Hey, it's Tasha the Travel Nerd, and I'm here today with my 5 top tips for international travel. So, I'm planning to go on a Mediterranean cruise in about a week, and my daughter is going with me, and this is going to be her first, true, what I call true international trip. So, um, I wanted to go over some things that I think will really help your international trip be successful. Now, when I say international, I'm talking about outside of the Caribbean because although going to the Caribbean is an international trip, um, it's a bit more catered towards tourists for the most part. So your experience can be a little different there than when you travel to other international areas. So, top tip, check your privilege. Okay. And I know you might be thinking, check my privilege. Yes, check your privilege because if you're from the United States, if you were born and raised here, despite the issues that we might have here, we live in pretty much the most free country that you can. We have the most freedoms here. We have the most rights here than what you will experience in most other countries when you travel abroad. So you want to check that because you can't go to other countries and expect the same things that you have here at home. You're going into someone else's home, you're on their turf. So you have to truly check your privilege. That means, especially for women, um, certain countries, especially if you're going to Muslim countries, um, women are not on equal footing with men. So you can't go in with that whole nobody's going to talk to me this kind of way and I got my rights because you don't. Okay, so some man talks to you in a way you feel is disrespectful or inappropriate, you're going to take it when you're in another country unless you want to deal with the law. Okay, in some countries, just talking back to a man as a woman is breaking the law. So you want to be sure to do your research. Whether you're working with a travel agent or not, take the time to research the customs and the culture of the country that you're going to. And once you do that research, respect it. Okay, although you're an adult, you go to other places, cursing might be inappropriate. Your dress might need to change. You might not think you're immodest, but their idea of modesty is something different. So make sure no matter where you're going, you take the time to research those customs and respect them when you're there. That will make your travel a whole lot easier. Okay. Second tip, know what the local currency is. Okay, so wherever you're going, do a little research, find out what the local currency is, and I would try my best to have at least a little bit of that local currency on me when I arrive. Depending on the country, you might need to have cash available for tips or transportation. So you want to make sure that you already have that currency on hand because a lot of times once you get there, exchange rates can be different. At the airport, they might have added fees or whatnot added on. So if you can, check with your bank. There are also services that you can order currency from. And try to have some currency on hand, including some smaller bills, if you can specify that. If not, once you arrive, you can use ATMs in most countries. Okay, they might be particular about the type of cards that they're going to accept, though. So that's why it's always best to just have your own cash, your own currency, local currency on hand once you arrive. Also, when we're talking about currency, credit cards. Bring a credit card that doesn't have an international transaction fee if you can. If not, just be aware that there will be an international transaction fee for a lot of credit cards. Also, when you're using that credit card abroad, allow them to do that charge in their local currency. You're often charged an exchange rate on top of your purchase if you ask to have it processed in your local currency, which is dollars. So that's something to be aware of. Also, let your banks know that you're traveling so that they don't reject your purchases or block your card. All right, so that is currency. Also, one last thing, have a currency converter app on your phone. Okay, by having that currency converter app, you can know what you're paying. It's going to be different, a bit of a culture shock when you see prices in a different currency. But if you have a converter app on your phone, that you can use. You can quickly convert it and know what you're actually spending. All right, my third tip, Translator App. Have some type of translator app available to you. Again, we're checking out Privilidge. We're going to another country. We want to make some kind of effort to communicate in whatever the local language is. And we have enough technology available to us that we can use a translator app. They have the ones that will allow you to speak into it and it translates into the language you need it to, or that it can hear the local language where you are and it can translate it back into English for you. So do the due diligence, to be a responsible traveler and show the locals that you came prepared to communicate with them and not expect for everyone to speak English where you're going. Some countries, if you're in tourist areas, they may speak a little English, but don't expect that. So go prepared to be able to communicate in the country where you're traveling to. All right, number 4, phone service. Talking about communication. So make sure that you check with your phone service provider before you leave to ensure that you have coverage where you are going. An alternative is to get a local SIM to the country you're going to if they provide them. So that's something that you want to research prior to. I enjoy using a local SIM. I did that in Thailand, and I was able to have local phone service and unlimited internet. And then I just used the WhatsApp if I wanted to make like regular phone calls to people back home. Okay, so make sure you clear up your phone service so you don't get back home and you have an astronomical phone bill, or you get over there and you have no way to communicate because you don't have your phone service already squared away. All right, number 5, last thing, Google Maps is your friend, okay? So prior to leaving, wherever you're going, especially if you're going somewhere and you're not going to stay on a resort or something like that, and you're going to be out exploring, download the maps on Google Maps for where you're going to the different, if you're traveling to different locations, download those different locations, because then you have access to it offline, even if you don't have internet service. Okay, and it will also translate it for you into English so that you have access to that. Sometimes you get out and service isn't, the data service isn't what it needs to be, and you lose access to that. So if you download those maps ahead of time, you will have access to that. If you're out and about, you'll be able to find your way. Also, make sure you familiarize yourself with the local transportation before you arrive there, okay? Find out if they have taxis. Do they have buses or train systems? Things of that nature. Just make sure that you are familiarized with that. And lastly, on that line, a VPN. So that's a virtual private network that you use when you're surfing the internet. I'm not really an internet guru or whatnot, but pretty much having that VPN allows you a bit of security when you're traveling abroad, and it also allows you to access most of the things that you're going to try to get to. Certain things can be blocked in other countries, I guess is what I'm getting to. So if you have a VPN, it helps you bypass that. If your internet picks up you're in another country, it's only going to allow you access to things that are available to you in that country. So a VPN helps you avoid that issue. So those are my 5 top tips for having a successful international trip. I hope you find this helpful, and it encourages you to travel abroad even more. Have a great one. And remember, live, laugh, and travel.